Lost my phone. Now I know this is a new angle for you guys to see me at. And the reason you guys are seeing me at this angle is because my webcam died. My webcam died. You can't find no webcams anywhere. Everybody is streaming now. Everybody's streaming. So my webcam died. I tried to order a new one online today. I tried to see if they had anything available near me. Nothing was available. So now I am streaming through my FaceTime camera on my computer. I got to make it do what it do up until we figure something out. So I'm warning you guys now. This is going to be a real sloppy show. But we go start it off. We go start it off with our brother Roberto Martinez. He was on Vice TV, and he was talking about the pandemic. It was a very good story, a very good documentary. And I don't think you guys know, but Progressive Action is going to do a documentary soon regarding this whole entire pandemic. And why don't we check out the documentary that Roberto was in? Let's go.
The pandemic was not the crisis in itself. Our healthcare system was dysfunctional. Our educational system was dysfunctional. Our access to healthy food was dysfunctional. So when the pandemic came, it just really highlighted the dysfunctional foundations that existed already.
When you know this country's history, like Black and brown people know this country's history, you would be stupid not to be mistrustful of these clinics and hospitals, knowing what segregated healthcare looks like right now.
I knew it wasn't going to be, like a cakewalk, especially for the kids that we serve. I feel like we could have and maybe should have been more prepared for anything like this.
The Transit Authority in New York City is made up of a majority of minority employees. Do you feel like you all were protected properly when you were sent out to work during this pandemic?
No, absolutely not. They literally threw us out there to the wolves. We became essential workers overnight.
As the fight against the coronavirus continues, studies have begun to emerge that show the racial disparity in coronavirus deaths. According to preliminary data, the pattern is becoming clear. Communities of color are being hit disproportionately hard by COVID-19. And as the calls to end police brutality echo around the country, people have begun to pay attention to how these disparities have exacerbated the pandemic in those same communities. On this episode of The Latest, we explored the disproportionate effects of the coronavirus pandemic on communities of color in America.
Did we treat all New Yorkers and Americans the same during this virus, or did we make a determination that some people were dispensable? That is what we have to get at the heart of. My name is Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams. New York City is made up of 5 boroughs. Brooklyn is the largest of the counties with 2.6 million people.
Can you walk me through those first few days when we were seeing the mayor issue shelter-in-place orders?
To make sure that all non-essential workers go home.
We were closing down bars and restaurants. Brooklyn, it is a very interesting place because there are millionaires living down the street from public housing in this borough. Talk to me about the initial response to the COVID-19 pandemic from your end.
We made the mistakes from the beginning. We divided the city into 2 groups. We said essential employees and non-essential employees. Non-essential employees were able to telecommute. We gave them clear instructions to save their lives. Make sure you shelter in place. Make sure if you went out, you wear face coverings. So we gave them all the instructions that they needed. Then we said to the essential employees that you're not going to be able to shelter in place because of the nature of your job. You're not going to be able to social distance because of the nature of your job. And guess what? We're not giving you any face covering. And even if you attempt to wear face coverings, we're going to bring you up internal charges in your agencies or in your department. Ironically, over 75% of those essential employees were people of color.
The bulk of the members that move the subway and buses are minority. My name is Roberto Martinez. I'm a bus operator for the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, New York City Transit. I'm Puerto Rican, so I am in that minority category.
What were those first few days like for you when news of this pandemic spreading was kind of dominating the news at night and you still had to go to work the next day?
On March 15th of this year was the first confirmed transit employee testing positive. The transit authority the following day issued a memorandum stating that we are not to utilize our own PPE because you're going to scare the public, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And they even threatened us with writing us up, disciplining us. Then the casualties started piling up. In my depot, I lost two good friends, brothers, both brown individuals. That's because of the situation that we live in. They definitely changed the way we're doing everyday business. You know.
Is it true that they had a stockpile of masks?
Yes, Tramel Thompson, a conductor for this agency, he uncovered that they had a stockpile of PPEs. And after he exposed them on social media, they magically appeared.
It's just hard for me to wrap my mind around the fact that coronavirus happened. Millions of Americans were told work from home. It is not safe for you to be outside.
Literally.
You all were sent outside without any protective equipment.
We were sacrificial lambs, basically.
Mentally, what does that do to you?
You have a range of emotions. You know, you're angry. You know, you're disenchanted. You're disenfranchised. The morale is low. We wouldn't be in the shape that we're in today. All these deaths, mostly by Black, Hispanic, we have some Chinese, the majority of them were preventable.
I believe that Brooklynites and Black and brown communities across the country had their civil rights violated on every area. Many of our residents were going to the hospital to get tested, only to be sent back home and told, we're not going to test you.
So my name is Jamila Conte. I started as an emergency room clerk, but now I'm a scheduling coordinator in a staffing office.
Since COVID.
Shout out to our brother, Roberto Martinez, for that dope Vice TV look. It was dope. Him and Eric Adams and others. We're not going to play the entire video. I would like to give a shout out to Jacinia. She sent me this shirt, man. Look at this shirt. It says Live Life. I don't know what her website is or anything like that, but she's supposed to send me this shirt a month ago. I just got it, so I'm wearing it today. If she's watching, she could post the link of where she's selling these shirts, but some good quality t-shirt, nice and comfortable. Live life. That's what we got to start doing amidst everything that's going on as far as with, you know, the coronavirus, these killings. It's just crazy right now, the world that we living in. So I want to touch on some union business real quick before I get into, you know, the regular news. So what I just put on the screen was a piece of the contract from, I think it was from 2000s, where, you know, people say that there's something legislatively different. Pensions is legislative, it's not contractual. But this is a part of the contract that shows the MTA did get behind the pension reform for Tier 4. And at one time, the contributions for Tier 4 was 5.3%. And they wanted to get it back down to 2%. And they did it. Matter of fact, this is from 1999. And they did it. So if the MTA wanted to make impact on Tier 6, they could get behind it. They have yet to do it. They don't care. The union has yet to say anything. They don't care. And that's basically it for that. Like I said, this is going to be a sloppy show, only because I feel out of place talking through my FaceTime camera, but we still go get the information through anyway. Now, and speaking of, you know, this whole situation that went on with the pandemic, it's mighty funny that Utano will be they promoting deploying law enforcement on buses. They know that people are not wearing masks on buses, right? Without a doubt, scientists, the governor, everyone has said that this thing is spread through the air. If you don't got a mask, it's unsafe. My question to the union is, why do they continue to have us working unsafe in these predicaments where we lost close to 140 workers and maybe at 140 now, definitely over 130. We lost over 130 workers. They still have us working in unsafe conditions. The union don't care. I don't care what Utano put out. He could put out whatever. It does not take away from the 130 plus co-workers who have passed because the union has failed to take action on the MTA regarding this whole situation. Hold on, let me see something real quick. I forgot to put this up. Let me see. I forgot to put something up. Give me 1 second. Yeah, but the union failed to take action. They failed to take action. And now they wanna put out flyers and they want to do all this crazy stuff to say, hey, look what we doing now. They not really doing anything. They are like, it's embarrassing. Like my boy Gomez would say, it's embarrassing for them to put out anything, put out the truth, put out that you guys are scared of the MTA, put out you guys are afraid of Cuomo, put out you guys are afraid to shut down the system because Cuomo, you may not be in Cuomo good graces anymore. That's what you should be putting out. That's what you should be putting out. Nothing less than that. You guys are afraid of Cuomo. Bottom line. Bottom line. And now, because of situations, we are having bus operators get into situations with passengers over the mask. First and foremost, why are you worried about passengers refusing to wear a mask? Bus operators, that's not your job to challenge passengers on a mask. If you want to challenge anyone, take your bus out of service. It's unsafe. Passengers are on your bus with no mask on. It's unsafe. Take your bus out of service. You don't say anything to the passengers. When it comes to the fare, it's the same thing. If someone don't want to pay their fare, you don't say anything to them. Whether they pay their fare or not, your check is going. It's no reason. Absolutely no reason to trip over the fare box. None. Stop tripping over the fare box and let's get it together. If it's unsafe for you to operate your bus, do not say nothing to no passengers. Don't say nothing to no passengers. Let them on the bus. And if you want to let them on the bus and you feel unsafe, you take your bus out of service. It don't get any clearer than that. Let me see something real quick. If you just tuning in, could you please share out the show? I'm at a new angle right now. Like I said earlier, my webcam died. There's no webcams in America right now. You can't get a good quality webcam anywhere. So now I'm forced to use my FaceTime camera. So if you're watching right now, share out the show. But like I said, if you're a bus operator, don't challenge anyone on the fare. Why you gonna challenge someone on the fare? Don't do that. Don't do that. It's worthless. It means nothing. The union don't care about your safety. The MTA don't care about your safety. No need to challenge no one on the fare. Not at all. Let's see what else we got going on here. Like I said, it's going to be a sloppy show. Sloppy show. Oh, yeah, this is going to be good right here. So, this is the reality. You got Cuomo. You got our union, you have the MTA, everybody is clapping and applauding that, you know, they kept the COVID numbers down or whatever the case is. This tweet says that Flatbush, Brooklyn has more COVID-19 deaths than South Korea. Let that sink in. Flatbush, Brooklyn has more COVID-19 deaths than Brooklyn. And this thing is far from over. Like I said, now it's time to prepare for a second wave. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Everybody dropped the ball on us. Everybody dropped the ball on us. And the second wave ain't even come. And that first wave we got it kind of late. Like we got it according to them like in February. That's like the end of the flu season. September, October, we're going to have to be prepared because it may be going down. It may be going down. Maybe going down. Like there's a lot of people like me who still having residual symptoms. You know, not being able to breathe when you want. And I can't imagine being at work for 8 hours or I'm or being on, like, we have a lot of cab time. That's what we call it, or seat time. If you're on a bus, if you're on a train, cab time or whatever the case is. Like my job, I'm on a train for literally over 6 hours a day. There's no way possible that I could wear a mask for 6 hours a day without needing some fresh air or taking off my mask and putting myself at risk. Again, in the public, you know, when working, you know, I got sick at work. It's this whole situation has been, you know, traumatizing for the simple fact that for me personally, I had people come up to me who passed away, who asked for my help on how to handle this COVID situation, and I couldn't help them. And that takes a toll on anyone who's used to helping people and fighting and trying to do the right thing. But I can't imagine how you guys wear masks for 6 to 8 hours a day. I can't do it. I can't do it. There's no way it can happen. I'm still on asthma machine. I can't take that work and plug that in whenever I want. There's no way. There's no way that I could do it. No way. Shout out to y'all who could do it. But we go look at the games that the governor is playing. So the governor put out this tweet. I think it was yesterday. No, it might have been today. It says 7/24. Yeah, today is the 24th. So he put out this tweet today that I caught. And he was mentioning that the dense crowds may have increased the spread of COVID at airports in February and March. New York State suffered significant damage, and we will look at legal remedies. So he's saying there were huge lines at airports and border control. Let's think about that for a second. There was huge lines at the airport and border control. I'm going to put something in perspective for you guys. The airport, I'm going to use JFK. JFK Airport have the capability of flying out 160,000 people a day. And you can look this up. Go, if you don't believe me, Google how many passengers fly or come into JFK a day. So it's about 160,000, I think, that fly out or whatever the case is. And let's just double that. Let's just, for argument's sake, let's just say that 500,000 people come in and out of JFK a day. On the trains alone, 6 to 8 million people a day ride the subways alone. So put that in contrast. You got 6 to 8 million people on a train a day compared to, like I said, for argument's sake, 500,000 JFK Airport. So when the governor say there were huge lines at airports and border control, what do he think is happening on these trains when you move 6 to 8 million people a day and people is packed on the trains like sardines? People are on the platforms, crowded platforms, especially when there's delays. Don't you think that those dense crowds in the subways during February and March contributed to the deaths regarding this whole virus? Now we can't allow the governor to be hypocritical here. We must hold them accountable. There's no way possible that you could look at the airports and say the dense crowds at the airports led to the spread of this virus, and the subways didn't have or play no part in that. There's no way we could say that. How can you do that? But you want to know what? Our union will remain quiet as always during that fight. And Cuomo, you know, a lot of people been asking, what's up with hazard pay? What's going on? Who's responsible for hazard pay? Is it the governor? Is it the federal government? My opinion. It's my opinion. We are state workers. The governor is responsible for hazard pay. If he wanted to pay transit workers hazard pay, he could have done it already. He don't need any federal. He don't need no permission from the federal government. That's just the way for him to pass the buck and pass the blame. So he could say, look, I asked for hazard pay from you guys from Trump. He's asking Trump to pay us more money. Does that even make sense? That makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. He asking Trump for hazard pay. So if we don't get it, he could point the finger and say, look, I asked Trump for it and he didn't do what we got to do. We need a new president. It's BS. So I had actually seen this on the internet. Or I think my boy sent it to me. I think he sent me this one. But I think this is in New Orleans. Frontline workers to receive up to $2,000 in hazard pay. They didn't wait for the federal government in New Orleans. They gave their transit authority hazard pay. The frontline employees in the transit authority in New Orleans hazard pay. They didn't wait for the federal government. And this pay is in addition to their regular salary. Like I said, they didn't wait for the government. They made it happen themselves, as they should. As they should. I got another one for you guys. The Pennsylvania governor is granting hazard pay to workers in hospitals, grocery stores, and other essential jobs. So you mean to tell me that the governor of Pennsylvania can give hazard pay to workers, and the governor of New York, the beloved Governor Cuomo, everybody's favorite governor, Mr. Governor, President Governor, Mr. Best Governor in the world, he can't give hazard pay to his frontline workers?
Get the fuck out of here!
Just in case if y'all missed that.
Get the fuck out of here!
How can't he give hazard pay to us? Cuomo is a fraud. I don't know. I give credit where credit is due. But overall, Cuomo's a gangster. He's a gangster. He's a gangster governor for sure. But he's a fraud. I need someone to explain this to me. How did the Pennsylvania governor give his essential workers hazard pay, and the governor of New York can't do any of that? John, the button is back to stay now. Back to the regular scheduled program. But it shows you what kind of person that we're dealing with here. And I need my coworkers, I need the people of New York, stop falling for this guy tricks. Stop falling for him being able to articulate himself in front of a camera and lie. We can't be that gullible. There's no way possible we could be that gullible. And us as transit workers, we are in a very weird position because, like I said, when I first came to this job in 2013, I thought that I was a part of a very strong union. I thought that we had the best everything. And being here for it'd be 7 years this year, none of that stuff was true. None of that stuff was true. And I don't understand how we could sit there and cover for him. How can we believe him? Like I don't get it. I don't get it. And then like the state of our union, is in grave condition. We had over 130 people die. Our union didn't make a move to protect us, not one time. People still getting one mask a week. There's no unity here. You know, everybody have an agenda. Everybody want to be a fighter. You know, it takes a lot of work to do this type of work. You can't just come on the internet and say that you're doing X, Y, and Z. You got to actually be out there putting in that work. It's embarrassing. Like Gomez always say, it's embarrassing. Like, I don't know what we're going to do. We need serious change. We definitely need serious change. And how do we go about getting that change? We must change. We must change what's at the top in this union. We must change that top four: Utano, Latanya, Earl, and whoever they fill in. You know, they go fill in another yes person, someone who don't care about the membership, someone who is going to be there for the president and his best interest versus the members and all of that. We must change that. Like I said, this is a sloppy show. I gotta get my stuff together over here. Sloppy show. I gotta get my camera situation together over here. Probably take me like a week or two. Get my camera situation together. My stream just going in and out right now. It is what it is.